Hey, welcome to, this is just Steph Palermo, and welcome to JS Members Only monthly workshop. And I've titled it, What Are Your LBSs? Your legacy, your beliefs, and how you measure success. What are your successes and what do you think is a success for you? And I touched on all of these topics in our first month, and I will continue to touch on them lightly, but I wanted to talk about these in depth because these are really the foundational pieces for making changes in your life. And all of this is about being mindful and aware. And really, we are on autopilot so much of the day, so many hours out of the day, we're on autopilot. We don't even stop to think about how we feel, what is affecting us, how it's affecting us. We just keep on that treadmill. So if there's one thing you get as a takeaway tonight, being aware and really thinking about yourself, your life, what's around you, what you want, what you need, how you feel, how things affect you. Just be aware. Wake up, open your eyes, open your minds, open your hearts, open your spirit to understand, so that if there are areas in your life that are not serving you, or you're feeling bad, unless you bring it to the surface and understand why and what it is that's going on, you're not going to be able to release it. You'll just keep having the same experience over and over again. So this is really the number one thing that we need to do, is be aware. Be aware, be mindful. Okay, so what you're going to hear today is the real definition of legacy. And of course, all of this has my spin on it and how I feel, but it's really how I've been inspired by God, the universe, or infinite intelligence to talk to you about these issues. And I feel like these are just concrete means for you to make changes in your life. When you become aware of these things and you look at these topics from a sort of, I want to say, scientific perspective, you can make some real changes. I believe that all of this can happen in a blip from a spiritual perspective. So spiritually speaking, all of this can change in a second, but many of us are not ready for that. We need to kind of go through the motions. We need to go through the process to get to the other side. And that process is good for us, even if it's a little bit uncomfortable. It just gets us to that other, over the mountain, or to the other side of the river where we're happy. I use the analogy in some of my my writings about the beach. And, I'm standing here on the beach with a bunch of people, and they're all your friends and everybody loves you, and we're waving to you, hurry up, come on. And you're at the other side of the dunes with a wagon that's too heavy to carry over the dunes. And so you're needing to let go of some things and make some changes in your wagon in order to get to the party. And that's the process we're going through in all these workshops and in this membership. And personally, I do believe that you can drop the wagon and run and run over that hot sand and get to the party in a second. But that's not for most of us. Most of us need to figure out how we're going to get there and what needs to go and what needs to stay. That's the bottom line. It really is more of a process that's beneficial to us. And I hope that you can understand that. And if you don't, I want you to message me at steph@juststeph.com. If you have any questions or comments about this, I want you to reach out to me. This is important stuff. I want you to ask me any questions, or we can have a conversation about it. Let's bring it up for one of our monthly roundtables. If you have an issue with any of these topics, or you really want to discuss them individually, if you want to get on the roundtable and say, Steph, I want to talk about this, we can do it. So please bring your thoughts, your feelings, and your concerns to the group. Maybe you can post it on the Facebook, in the Facebook group, with the questions that you might have as well, and see what the other members have to contribute to you. So you're going to hear today the definition of legacy. And it's supposed to be flip-flopped. It's beliefs and how they get in the way, what really are beliefs, how they get in the way, and how we can sort of change those beliefs. And what does success mean for you? What does success look like? How does that feel? So we're going to talk about these things today. So for today, my goals for you, and these are my goals and my thoughts for you, but you need to come in with your own goals and what you want to get out of this, because this is your life, your journey. And I can be talking about this, and in my mind, it means something, but for you, you're going to apply it somewhere else in your life. That's up to you. Take the information and run with it. Put it into your own life and make it work for you. And again, if you have any questions on how these can work for you, bring it up at a round table or post it in the group. So my goals for you are: get clear on your gifts and the mark you will leave behind for your legacy. Understand your limiting beliefs and how to release them, is a typo. And 3, change how you experience success to be successful. Okay, these are my goals for you. So before you go any further, you're going to sit here and you're going to, why are you here today? I want you to think about things. I want you to reflect on them. Why are you here today? What do you expect? And what do you really love about your life? And I say these in every single workshop, because there's reasons. Your reason for being here this month may be very different from last month, and next month it might be totally different. But why are you here today? And I want you to actually stop this recording if you're watching it as a replay, and think about these questions. Write them down. Why are you here today? What do you expect? And what do you really love about your life? Think about that. Let it settle in. Maybe write it down, and then we can move on. Okay, so legacy. I love this because people are so hung up on the money that they're going to leave and the material goods they're going to leave behind for their kids. And that's good. But how will you be remembered for the person that you are? I know plenty of nasty rich people who will leave a lot of money to their kids, and they're not nice. What did they do? What did they do to make life better for their kids besides give them money? What kind of an example were they? So a legacy is something that's handed down from one generation to the next. It sounds a lot like a tradition, and it very well could be a tradition. you know, like the importance of Christmas or Christmas Eve for Sicilians and having fish on Christmas Eve. All of this, these are traditions, but it also is a legacy. It's handing down something that's important to me, important to my family, important to my culture. Something transmitted by or received from an ancestor or predecessor from the past. So it can be maybe some china or something that you have that's to hand down, but maybe it's the things that you learned from your past, that, you know, from your growing up, from your ancestors. Like in my book, it's not personal, Sonny, it's business. I take 10 pillars of Sicilian life and I tell little stories about it, and I apply, I have practical applications for your family life and your business. These are beliefs and feelings and ideas that have been passed on to me from my previous ancestors and the generations past. And I feel that they benefit society as a whole, so I put them together in a book. So these were things that I learned about life that I have handed down to my children, or I try to bring to the people around me. So legacy comes from the Latin verb legare, to appoint by a last will, send as an ambassador. Originally, the noun meant ambassador or envoy, but soon shifted to mean the money and property a person leaves behind in his will. Many university scholarships are funded by the legacy of former students. When my sons were pledging in their fraternities, my son Richie was a Sigma Nu at UGA, and my son Sean was looking at Sigma Nu at Alabama, and my Richie was a living legacy for Sean. Although that did not help him at Alabama. You had to be part of a certain culture to be considered for a Sigma Nu at Alabama. However, my son was still a living legacy. So, you know, the legacy that's left behind at, you know, the universities, there's money and scholarships and all of that. But there's also the legacies in the Greek life. In recent usage, political leaders are said to be concerned with their legacies, the historically significant achievements of their tenure in office. Well, well, well. That's interesting for this day and age. So basically, for our purpose here, legacy is the imprint you make on society. Okay, it's what you are leaving behind, what people would think of about you, whether you're there physically or whether you're alive and not present physically, or whether you've passed on. So whether you've transitioned into the next phase. So think long and hard about how you want to be remembered after you've passed. What do you want people to say or share about you in your life? What is the essence and legacy you want to leave behind? Once you're clear, always watch for opportunities to live true to that essence. Strive to bring your best to every experience and relationship. I love this tip, because what happens is, so I bet if I were to ask my children, you know, what did I leave you with? What is it? And hopefully it's the good stuff they'll remember, but I will venture to guess that they would say mom was the best cook, and my mom was the best cook. So what does that mean? I love that because not because the food was great, although it was, but because I fed their bodies and their souls with the food that I made from my heart for them. That's a legacy. I hope that my kids will say, my mom brought sunshine. You know, she was fun. She laughed. She loved life. And I can cry about this. And I remember when my teenagers, they'd be so mad at me, Mom, why are you so happy in the morning? You know, and, you know, I was like, I'm just happy to see you. And if they remember me for that, great. But ultimately, I want to be remembered by the people. So I have other people, the a little bit further out, my friends and my extended family. I hope that I will be remembered for being generous and loving and accepting, non-judgmental, and a source of love and inspiration for the people that are closest to me. And then as we go out, I plan on being known by, you know, as somebody who cared enough about the people in the world to do what I can to give back, whether it's in my coaching, on my retreats, my speaking, things like that. So that's that's my legacy. That's what I intend to leave behind. I hope that people remember me for being inspiring, that I overcame a lot. And I kept going no matter what. I persevered. So these are some of the things that I intend to be remembered for. And you have to figure out what and I'm talking a little bit about me because I want you to understand what legacy is. And I don't mean to make it all about me. You have to understand what your legacy, what do you want to be remembered for? And here's what I'm going to tell you. By living an aligned, purpose-driven life that is committed to personal growth and development every day, where you share your gifts and you live your best life, the best version of yourself, you will then know what your legacy is and people will remember you for that. That is the way to have something to give back, whether it's for the small, you know, your little world around you, at your office, or at, you know, at the gym, or wherever you go, or maybe if it's even, you know, your net is being cast a little bit wider, like I want to do. Whatever it is, you're living your best purpose-driven life is the way you leave a legacy. It's your mark. So, you know, it's a living legacy too, because it's not just when you die. You can offer your legacy every day by being purpose-driven. You can offer your legacy every day by aligning with who you are, connecting with your inner being, with your higher self. You actually have access to infinite intelligence by connecting to your inner being, your inner self. So you connect, you listen, and you choose. That's how you get to live out your legacy and give back. So you want to live a purpose-driven life, and that's how you share your legacy every day. You want to use the gifts that you have. So whether they're supernatural gifts or whether they're learned gifts, like if you love to host, your hospitality. I love to host. I love to, you know, entertain. I love to have people around my dinner table. I use my gifts of being able to entertain to bring my family, my extended family, together for Sunday dinners. I'm a connector. I want people to be together and to enjoy community, because I feel that that's how we will fill up our cup without looking for love in all the wrong places. And by practicing extreme self-care, you can tap into that legacy. You can tap into that purpose, tap into your inner being, your higher self, and live that legacy every day. Extreme self-care. We're going to do a whole workshop on extreme self-care, and we're going to do it in the first of the year, because that's where people I know are going to want to know more about how to have a great 2021 when 2020 wasn't what they expected. It wasn't what anybody expected. So we're going to talk about extreme self-care, but you need to practice extreme self-care. Saying yes when you want to do something, saying no when you cannot, or when it doesn't serve your highest good. Great night's sleep, eating well, exercising, making sure you're fitting in your yoga or your workout or your run or your walk or whatever you do. Journaling, meditating, all of that. And I'm going to go into that with the, in terms of your beliefs as well. So we're going to keep going, but you can leave your mark right now. And as you grow and as you develop and as you evolve, you will become clearer as to what your gifts are, what your purpose is, and what you love to do. And in that, you'll be giving back, and that is your legacy. Okay. Beliefs. This is a tough one. And it's even tough for me to wrap my head around, because it's just not tangible. And it's hard to they're hard to identify, because we sometimes don't even know we have certain beliefs. They're buried so deep, and we're on such a treadmill, we don't even know. 95 to 99% of everything we do is based on our subconscious beliefs in our subconscious mind. We're on this treadmill that keeps on going and going and going, and we don't even remember getting from point A to point B. We just do. So for those people who, and I sort of think I'm pretty aware, I'm pretty introspective, but I'm probably at 95% of being like reacting subconsciously. When things happen, when things are said to me, I may get the auto feel of whatever belief I was holding back in 1982 about myself, and I have to try and figure out why I feel bad and why I feel weird. So this is what beliefs are about. So beliefs are something that is accepted, considered to be true, or held as an opinion. A belief is a thought you continue to think. But here's the thing, beliefs, they cluster. Like, you have like organs, and then you have systems and organ systems, and you have your circulatory system, and part of the circulatory system are the veins, the arteries, and all of that, and the heart. And then you have your nervous system, and then that's the brain, the spine, all the nerves, it's a system, okay? So our beliefs work beautifully together, even if they don't serve us. They're clustered, okay? They come in clusters, okay? Their belief systems are the stories we tell ourselves to define our personal sense of reality. Every human being has a belief system that they utilize, and it is through this mechanism that we individually make sense of the world around us. So we sort of put our beliefs together and in one place. So I'm going to kind of make one up here. So I believe that everybody should be eating pasta and meatballs on Sunday, because that's when the family sits down together, and that's when everybody sits around the table and we all eat, we all spend time together, because it's important for us to be together as a family. That's a belief system, because there's all kinds of beliefs in there. It's about the family, the dinner table, what we're going to eat. Now, those beliefs, I have to look at that. Does that serve me? I have to say that when my kids were playing baseball on Sunday, it didn't serve me, that belief, because I couldn't live it out. And I have to say it was frustrating, because I didn't want to be at the ballpark on a Sunday. I wanted to be sitting around the dinner table like I did when I was growing up. But I had children who played baseball, and I lived in an area that wasn't ethnic. That's just an idea, an example. So beliefs and belief systems are not necessarily reality. I mean, it's not reality for everybody to sit down to Sunday dinner the way that I did growing up, and the way that I want to. However, I do believe that everybody needs to sit down to dinner with their family. I believe Sunday is a great day to do it, but if it doesn't work for you on Sunday, it needs to be someday. If it's not Sunday, it's got to be someday. Old beliefs do not bring you new opportunities. So some of the beliefs that we hold us back. The core beliefs that we have, well, they're not our fault. They were formed before we were 6 years old. And from 0 to 6, we're sponges, and we're watching how people behave and how they interrelate and show what's important and how life should be, and where it's, sort of in a hypnosis from 0 to 6, absorbing everything and making it our own. And when we become adults, we have these beliefs. Sometimes they hold us back from aligning with your true purpose, walking in your zone, truly enjoying life, creating the meaningful relationships, and influencing others to live their true purpose, or the beliefs get in the way of you living your true purpose. So, and the reasons why we have our core beliefs is where you live. Where you live is important. Your religion, your family's beliefs, your friends' beliefs, your culture, and your life's experiences. So I can tell you, I know how all of these affected me. So you have to think about it, where did you live? Where did you grow up? If you lived in Phoenix, Arizona, where you lived is going to influence you very differently than if you lived in, Portsmouth, New Hampshire, or in Bangor, Maine, and how you lived and what you lived through. Just by the topography, just by the climate, and how you lived your life. So it's very different. I remember when, this is funny, when I was 25 years old, I moved with my first new baby, to Irvine, California, where my then husband was working. And my husband at the time was on an overnight fishing trip while I was home alone with the baby. And I lived through a 7.5 and a 6.5 earthquake. One was, they were both different earthquakes. It wasn't even an aftershock. Everything shook. I mean, I was 25 years old. I was paralyzed. I was terrified. And I looked outside. I thought I was going to see like a big crack in the street, because that's what I believed happened from the movies with the with earthquakes. But I did look out at the pool that was in the apartment complex, and the water was going. I mean, I was terrified. My belief was everything comes crumbling down, and the ground cracks open, and we all fall in. That was my belief about earthquakes. And then I became addicted to Lucy Jones, the geologist from Caltech, a seismologist, whatever she is. And I was watching. And then here's what happened. Because this happened at like 5 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, every time I went to bed at night, I woke up in a panic and I paced the house, because I thought the earthquake was going to happen in the night, when earthquakes can happen anytime, day or night. But because that's what happened to me, I believed, in one traumatic instance, I believed that this is when earthquakes happen. So you can understand how when we're young, I mean, I was an adult, but I was panicked. And here's another funny story. When I moved to Georgia, I looked on the floor and there was something crawling across the floor. And I called my husband at the time and I said, "There's a lobster," with my Boston accent. "There's a lobster walking across the floor." He goes, "A lobster?" And I said, "Yeah, it's a lobster. I don't know, how does a lobster get here?" He goes, I go, "What am I supposed to do?" He goes, "Kill it." Well, do you know what it was? It was a scorpion. How's that? It looked like all I ever saw in my life was a lobster, because I was from I was from Boston. So, and again, I think I was 25, 26, I was 26 years old. I never saw a scorpion. I thought they lived out in the desert in Arizona. And I was, questioned. I mean, that's kind of a funny story, with what I believed. And I remember looking across the floor. But these are the things we carry forward. In my head, all I know is lobster. So these are some self-limiting beliefs that we hold, and you can put your own in there. I'm too old. I'm not smart enough. I'm not educated enough. And let me tell you about the too old. I'm going to be 54 the end of this week, and my business is really getting going. You would think that I'd be ready to retire, but I'm just getting started here. And not a year ago, May, when my son graduated from Georgia State, a woman graduated in his class. She was like 92, and she graduated because she had to quit college when she was younger. And they wheeled her up in the wheelchair. She got a degree in fine arts. The whole place went wild. Everybody gave her a standing ovation. It was the most beautiful experience to witness at a graduation, to see that happen. And you're not too old. But I'm not smart enough. And here's, these are I'm not educated enough. I'm afraid of trying and failing. You have to have money to make money. I've already tried everything. It's selfish of me to want more. I don't feel that I deserve it. I don't have the willpower. All the good ones are taken. I'm not lovable. I'm not likable. When they find, I always thought when they find out the true me, they're not going to like me. People leave me. They walk out of my life. When they find out who I am, they'll walk away. These are things that I believed. I'm going to go back to this for a second because I don't want to move forward. When it comes to beliefs, they're so buried within us, and there's only one way I know of to understand our beliefs. And I know, because of my own education on this subject, I know that there are beliefs that I hold that are buried deep down in me that I haven't yet uncovered. But I'm going to tell you the story. I was in spiritual direction years and years and years ago. And the priest I was working with I said, I don't know, Father, I'm pretty honest. I've really dug deep and I've tried to uncover things that have blocked me. And he said, there's something that's blocking you that you haven't yet faced. And I prayed about it, and I couldn't for the life of me see what it was. And I'm going to be honest with you, I very rarely talk to my husband about these things because he wasn't one for these kinds of conversations, and he would just, I was always felt threatened by whatever he was going to say. But this one time I told him, he said, I'm blocked. There's something that I'm blocking. And I can remember 2 or 3 times that he said genius things to me, and this was one of them. He said, what's your worst nightmare? And I went, oh my God. Public humiliation. I had been publicly embarrassed and shamed all of my life for my limb difference, for my rare disorder, that I was terrified of public humiliation. And we're talking about a girl who loves the microphone. I love the camera. I was torn in between. I was juxtaposed inside of myself. I couldn't, oh my gosh. And if I wasn't perfect, or if my hair was out of place, or if I tripped a little bit, I was going to get laughed at. And whatever it was, I was terrified of public humiliation. And it took that, what is your worst night? So that could be something you think about. What is your worst nightmare? Okay, what is the worst thing that could happen to you that you're terrified of? And there you'll find some limiting beliefs. I don't have to be perfect. I am perfect the way that I am, and how it goes is how it's supposed to go. So if I'm sitting here right now and my nose starts running, there's nothing I can do about it. You guys can say, okay, she's got a runny nose, but whatever. But I was always terrified of being publicly humiliated, so much so that I hid myself in certain situations. And I'm very good at it. I'm a genius when it comes to positioning myself properly so that somebody doesn't see my hand. I'm so good at it, you'd never know. But I'm, I'm getting over it. I promise. No, really, I've learned that I don't have to worry about this anymore. It's not something I have to worry about. And, people who laugh at other people and not with them are a problem. They're not very nice. So anyway, but one of the ways is, what is your worst nightmare? But the other ways to uncover your beliefs is to meditate and become aware of how you are feeling in certain situations. What makes you feel good? What makes you feel uncomfortable? And then you have to figure out why. What is that? When somebody says something that isn't in line with what you think, or maybe you think that or somebody comes up against you and you're not, at work, and they are being maybe constructively criticizing or critical of your work, and you take it personal that you'll never be good enough. That's a belief. So you start to feel bad, and you say, okay, why do I feel bad? And instead of lashing out and being reactive, you think about what's going on here. Are we doing something for the benefit of the company? And we need to, I need to tweak this and not worry about that. It's, not perfect or whatever, or am I going to take this personally because I knew I could never be a success? I knew I could never be good at this. I knew I was going to fail. You see what I'm saying? You have to understand where you are at, and you need to become aware of your emotions and how you feel. Okay? You need to tune into yourself. Ask infinite intelligence to show you the beliefs that no longer serve you. You're going to have good beliefs that you need to keep. Your belief that, family, I always talk to my kids, this needs to be a safe place. The family needs to be safe, because outside it's not safe. It may not be safe in terms of, people breaking your heart or not living up to expectations. In the family, there's certain things that I believe are good. They're good beliefs. Like, murder is wrong. Mistreating people is wrong. Making people feel bad for who they are is wrong. I had some ideas here, but there's beliefs that you want to keep that are really good, and they're good for you, and they're good for society. They're good for the people around you, and you want to hold on to those, and you want to pass those on to the people around you, because let's see, finding this. These are negative. I want to talk about the positive ones, because life is good. I'm confident. People always like me. I can do anything I want to do. I'm good at a lot of things. A lot of these are positive affirmations that you could say. Good things happen when you make them happen. Others will help me. I can do this. I believe in myself. I can make tomorrow better. Opportunities are all around me. I can make something bad into something good. I am not special or different. My mind, well, I think everybody's special and different, but I think this means in another way. My mind is capable of great things. My hard work will pay off. I can change if I want to. I always believed that I could never be a successful business person. I could not be successful. I needed help, not just help, but I needed, I couldn't do it on my own. I was always going to be a failure. I believed this. I believed that I wasn't good enough, or that why would anybody take me seriously? I believed those things about me, and I had to overcome them. So send me a message if you want to know any more of the positive ones. But the negative core beliefs: I'm ugly, I'm not as good as them, I'll never amount to anything, people don't like me, I can't do anything right, I'll never get better at this, I'm not a confident person, there's no way I could do that, I'm stuck, I'm unlovable, there's something wrong with me, I never get things right, they'll leave me in the end. That's one I always had. That they're going to, in the dating scene, like I always thought that, they're going to change their mind and leave. And that happened. It happened because I believed it. And that's why I chose them. Everyone just uses me. The world is evil. See, that's another one. Everyone says the world is evil and life sucks. Why? I don't care what has gone on this year. Life is beautiful. This is coming from a girl who wanted to be dead because I thought that dead had to be better than what I was living. I didn't really want to hurt myself, but I wanted to be dead. It's in my book. I wrote it in one of my blogs. What's Over the Fence is the name of the blog. People only like interesting people. I'm interesting. You're interesting. I'm just an anxious person. I'm negative. I'm different from everyone else. I'm stupid. So these are negative core beliefs. So before I get into the benefit of creating positive core beliefs, I want to talk about, these are examples of core beliefs, helpless core beliefs. I'm inadequate, ineffective, incompetent. Unlovable core beliefs: I am unlikable, unwanted, will be rejected. Worthless core beliefs, and there's more here. I'm worthless, unacceptable, bad, crazy, broken. And here's what I'm going to tell you. If you believe this stuff, when you go into relationships, you will most likely align yourself with a person who will perpetuate this dysfunction. This is why a lot of us get divorced in our 40s and 50s, because we realize we're none of these things, but the person we live with has tried to make us believe that we are. So be sure, if you're single, you're getting yourself straight with your beliefs so that you will attract the person who will love your who you are, the truth. They'll love the truth about who you are, right? So, and I just Googled some of this stuff so that I would have examples for you. But benefits of creating positive core beliefs: effectively dealing with the origins of mental and emotional concerns. So it's realistic. It's being real about some emotional issues that you might have, or you're not really crazy. You just need to change your perspective. It's just that somebody told you when you were young that if you did this, you were not in your right mind, or if you did this, that's not right, or that's crazy. And then you held on to that. And it's not necessarily true. Lasting positive outcomes. It has lasting positive outcomes, improves relationships, increased appreciation and enjoyment of life, an added sense of meaningful purpose. We're talking about purpose here. Enhanced physical wellness, because happier people are healthier people. increased emotional resilience and well-being. This is important because when we get ourselves, when we're straight and we're good with who we are and we're good in our own skin and we have a good, strong, healthy belief system, if somebody comes into our space that doesn't meet or exceed that, and they are trying to make us think differently in one way or another, either with their behavior or what they're saying to us, we can be resilient because we are grounded in our own selves. We're grounded in our own shoes, knowing that we are okay. We are great and perfect just the way we are. So emotional resilience is imperative, and the only way to get there is to be okay in your own skin. I just recently had a conversation with one of my kids, and I said, you know, I lost myself for all these years. I'm not changing anymore for anybody. I can always be kinder, more loving, more, you know, more momish, but I'm not changing my fun, happy self. And if that doesn't work for you, I'm sorry, I'm not doing it. That's the way it's got to be. No matter, you have to be able to resist that. Resist whatever comes at you that tries to break you down. And it will come, not even because people are trying to, but because they're trying to be themselves, and it's clashing with you being who you are. So you need that emotional resilience, and the only place to get that is to be grounded in you. And then you have a strengthened self-belief identity, and that's what we were just talking about. So besides becoming aware of your beliefs, and this is why I wanted to spend time on the beliefs, because it's so difficult. You have to be tuned into you. You've got to. But what you could do is once you identify your beliefs that you have, then you can counter it with positive affirmations. So let's just take this one. I am unlovable, undesirable, unattractive, ugly. I am lovable just the way I am. By loving myself, others will love me too. When you love yourself, people can't help but love you. You set that healthy boundary. You teach people how to treat you. Everything is my fault. I never get it right. Sometimes I get it right. I'd like to say I always get it right. It just isn't the right door. Maybe I made him, I hit the wrong place and it's just a wrong turn. Okay, change. I will be hurt if I get close to someone. People cannot be trusted. This is a tough one, right? Sometimes I will make a good friend if I get close to someone. But you know what I like to think? You have to be what you want. These are a little weak, I think. Be the person you want in your life. You want reliable. You want loyal, trustworthy, dependable, kind, loving, generous, understanding, good family values. Be that person and you will attract them back. And the only way for you to be that person is to be grounded in the good beliefs and in the understanding of who you really are and what you bring to the table. And what you bring to the table is your legacy. It's all tied together. Your belief system rules your life. So change your belief system so that your life is the amazing life that you want. Write down some ideas. of what, you know, what makes you feel good, what makes you feel bad. I have this towards the end. It's a little exercise for you to do. I don't really have the handouts that I've had in the previous, but I have some things for some thoughts, some just reflection questions that you can fill out on your own. And you can also print it out and send it to me, upload it in the with the homework. Okay, success. And I want to talk about success because it's part of the belief system, what actually defines success. And, you know, so many people believe success is based upon the money that you make, your power, having control, having a big home, a beautiful car, the, you know, arm candy or whatever. And, you know, I think I believe some of those things as well. And I remember when I wanted to get divorced, I came from a very poor upbringing. You know, my sister and I slept in the same bed. We didn't have two beds. And until we were a little bit older. But I was finally in this place where we were traveling. I was going to conferences at higher end hotels and conference centers, and I was rubbing elbows with some of the wealthiest people here in Atlanta, getting invited to parties and events that were so far beyond just having money. And I remember thinking, I was struggling with wanting to be divorced, and I said, I've got to give all this up. I have to be willing to give this up. And I thought, I don't need this stuff. I don't need any of it. I don't need to be invited to parties. I don't need to have the stuff. What I need is to be happy. So I was measuring my life, the success of my life. I had a big home. I had a full-time housekeeper. I had, you know, but I was not happy. There was so much more going on behind the scenes that was unsuccessful. But what everybody saw was the success. So how we define success is part of our belief system, but also if we shape that and have it be one of the beliefs that we change our perspective on, we can feel more satisfied. We can feel better and happier in our lives, but also it gives us the incentive to go on. When you feel successful, it makes you want to keep trying and keep going. I mean, it's just a nice feeling. So let's talk about success. So success is the accomplishment of an aim or a purpose, the attainment of popularity or profit, prosperity, affluence, wealth, riches, opulence, the trappings of success. A person or thing that achieves desired aims or attains prosperity. So here's what I say. The opposite of success is not failure, it is failure to try. So success is liking yourself, liking what you do, and liking how you do it, by Maya Angelou. One of your beliefs probably includes how you measure success, and it comes from our parents, society, the media. And for me personally, my sense of success comes from the number of healthy, right relationships I had. And how I feel about myself, about love, and that I feel good. That's success for me. Every day that I feel good and I'm excited about life is success for me. So there's small successes. And of course, I desire a very large business that where I can touch many, 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 many millions, I hope, people. And what I'm looking for is, be able to touch millions of lives, because that's, for me, is living out the purpose that's within me. But along the way, little successes are just as important. And they're getting me to the bigger success. But it's not about the money. It's about living my purpose. The money helps. That's all part of it. Money is great. We love money. But money is a byproduct of living a purpose-driven life, where I am applying my gifts and my purpose in my business, doing what I love, because the money will follow, right? Not because, but, and that it will follow. So success is not measured in the amount of dollars you make, but the amount of lives you impact, which is what? Say it together: legacy, right? So this is all tied together. You can feel successful when you're living out your purpose every day, because you're leaving your legacy every day. You're sharing who you are every day. That's successful. That's success. You're impacting lives. That's your legacy, the impact, right? How you impact is your legacy. This is why I did this all together. This is a web with the legacy, your beliefs, and your success. And all of this can be yours if the price is right. The price is just changing your mind. Making your mind up to understand that your legacy is tied to your purpose and the gifts and how you live your life and the impact you make on people. And those living a purpose-driven life can be hindered or encouraged depending on your beliefs, depending on your belief system. And the success you feel and the success that you have is in the amount of lives you impact by your legacy. It's a little bit of a circle. And I love this one. Your value doesn't decrease based on someone's inability to see your worth. And this is part of your beliefs and how you feel successful. So it doesn't really matter what anybody else is thinking or feeling about you. It's how you feel about you. And all of this has to do with changing your mind. When you change your mind, you change your world. You don't have to need to add anything to your list, your to-do list, like, okay, change my mind. That should be the only thing that's on your list. Change how you think. Change your perspective. Be all about you. Extreme self-care. Stop listening to everyone else. Listen to yourself. Listen to your body, because your body is going to tell you whether something is working for you or it's not. Whether it's a deep-rooted core belief that you need to release, or somebody is saying something that just doesn't work for you. And then knowing who you are, aligning with your true purpose, know your gifts, and walk in your zone. And when you're walking in your zone, you're leaving drops of your legacy all around you. Again, change your thoughts and change your world. I can't say this enough. And when you change how you feel about yourself, you start to pamper and take care of yourself because you recognize your amazingness. So this is all about changing how you think about yourself and your life and what you have inside of you and what you have to give, not only for other people, but for yourself, for your own well-being, to feel amazing, to feel great. And I like this one because Mr. President, JFK, he says, we choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard. And I disagree. No, Mr. President, we went to the moon because somebody wanted to go. They desired it, they thought about it, and they made their thoughts reality. And that's what I'm telling you, you can do. And it doesn't have to be hard. It just means making your, creating your life, connect to your higher self, listen, and choose. Choose what you're going to do, because in every moment you are creating. You are creating. So this is the reflection I want you to look at. You can print this out. You know what? I'm going to make this so that I'm going to print it out and attach it so that you can write this out and have it for yourself. I totally forgot I was doing a keynote, but that's okay. So what is your legacy? What are you leaving? List both positive and negative beliefs that you hold. Make a list. One, good, bad, write them. And then maybe with the negative ones, make a third column. What can I do to counter those with the positive affirmations? What are some things you can do to bring subconscious beliefs to the surface? We talked about this. Meditate, ask infinite intelligence, stay aware, be aware. I mean, if you don't practice yoga, and I'm not telling you have to if you hate it, but it's a great way to align. And then how do you define and measure success? What's your definition of success? And for what do you want to be remembered? I know for me, I know I said that I want to touch so many lives, but I feel very strongly that I want, if people come into my world and come into my my space, I want them to know that they were loved unconditionally. And I felt like I've done my job and that I care. So, think about these things. I'm going to definitely print out this page and I'm going to attach it to this video. And when I upload it to the platform, the education platform, as well as the group, the Facebook group. So you will have this. In conclusion, life is more fun if you just let the wind carry you. That's right. We've been swimming upstream, folks. The negative beliefs make us swim upstream. So our definitions of legacy, our beliefs, and how we measure success drive our lives. They are the energy we emit. They are the baseline for what we will attract into our existence. So, if you have chaos going on, if you have stuff that's going on in your existence that is something that you don't want, you've attracted it based upon some of these ideas. When we change our thinking, we alter our legacy, right? You don't want to be, remembered for some negative belief, negative thinking on negative things. You want to be remembered for the good things that you gave because you care. Understanding our legacy and living it is success. Our beliefs drive our lives. We can change our beliefs. The result is self-satisfaction, acceptance, and love that overflows to the world around us. So everything we're doing here, everything that you learn, every positive change you make, every next right thing that you do, positively affects the world around you. Just think about it being one more positive person, one more positive thing, and then, you know, we're adding to that. We're changing the world one soul at a time. And that's it. That's what I have for you today. You want to find your bliss and follow it. That is where your purpose is. That is where you will walk in your zone. Be who you are. Be your amazing self. You are fabulous. So I hope you enjoyed this workshop. Take a risk, be vulnerable, share your heart and love always. Know I love you all. Wishing you love, balance, and peace. Ciao, ciao, baby. I love you guys.